Hi, my name is Monica Alford with Wildside Media. I'm back in Legacy Sessions today in Adams Morgan. Super excited to be here with a 2024 RAMMY finalist for Pastry Chef of the Year. This is Rochelle Cooper, and she is the pastry chef for many locations, which I'll let her walk you through, but this nomination is specifically for the Duck and the Peach, so thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm the pastry chef for the Duck and the Peach, La Colina, the Wells, and Melly as well.
Wonderful. And the ice cream shop, let's start there. I want to tell us about your role there.
So Ice Cream Shop kind of was born out of the pandemic. We had to do some shutting down of indoor service, and when we did that, we had like a lot of product that was like ready to go for like plated desserts that just didn't translate well to go. And we also had shut down some of our cafe operations, and we had all this like gallons of milk that were just like sitting there, like gonna expire in like a week. So I was like, I know what I can do with all of this. So I made a lot of ice cream base, and then we had these containers that were eco-friendly, but they were a little too eco-friendly for chicken soup. We were trying to do chicken soup for when people were feeling unwell for COVID, but they were a little soggy with the chicken soup. They're a little too eco-friendly. So we ended up using those for our ice cream. And that's why they're in pint pluses, so a little bit bigger containers, which is fun, more the merrier.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so we just made really fun flavors with all the stuff we had, and the community really responded well and supported it, and I think everyone just wanted to like eat their feelings, I guess, at the time. So, and me too.
Yeah, same.
So we started it, and then when, things kind of calmed down and we opened up for service again, I asked Hollis and Chef Kat, I was like, can I keep doing this? Because I'm having a lot of fun. And they said yes. So me and the team just kind of keep creating fun flavors that we like, or using extra product from menu changes. And when the farmers have something special that I can't work on something for the menu, it just doesn't fit, I'm like, well, I can make ice cream, and that's great too.
Yeah, love it.
I love using it as my creative outlet.
Yeah. What is your favorite flavor that you've concocted or like done your own spin on?
Oh, I like so many of them. I think we've done like almost like 60 flavors by now.
Wow. That's a lot.
I don't even know. I have just like a running list on my phone of the ones we've done. I think my favorite right now is Fancy Fruit Loops. It doesn't use Fruit Loops. I just use a bunch of like different like fancy produce that we have, like a little jam of, or a little, we used macroot lime leaf oil for a bit, and I just kind of like threw all that together, and it tasted like Fruit Loops, and I was like, this is like Fruit Loops. So I'm really liking that one right now, and it's just like nostalgic for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's definitely like making me hungry. I could do a bowl of Fruit Loops right now, but it's like a healthy ice cream flavor instead.
Yeah. And our ice cream actually doesn't, our base doesn't use heavy cream, so it is actually a little healthier.
Yeah. I love that. So let's see. I know that you recently returned to your role because you were on maternity leave, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience getting back into, both being on maternity leave, and I'm sure it's hard to be away from, your role at all these restaurants, but also enjoying being a new mom, but what it's been like to re-enter all these spaces and kind of get back to work.
Yeah, I mean, as a chef in the past, it always seemed daunting in my role to even leave for like a week vacation. So the idea of leaving for months was like, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
But we did a lot of planning, and I have an incredibly supportive team at Eastern Point Collective. Hollis Silverman is very supportive of mothers. Chef Kat was actually also on maternity leave around the same time as I was. So we were all kind of like supporting each other. The team was really behind us in taking the time we needed with our kids and our loved ones. And so it worked out. Everything, we set some menu plans using some dishes we used in the past that everybody loved. And then when I came back, it was like full force. It was like a fire was lit under me, and I was like, I have to make up for lost time. And it went like kind of creative boom. And so we came up with this dish behind me, which is the Ferrero Rocher, which is kind of like an ode to the Ferrero Rocher. And just so many dishes. The mango daisy, working on a really cool sweet corn dish that's going to hit the menu next week. That's using corn silk kataifi. So just kind of like pulling those creative juices out of everywhere. I get inspired by my son too, which is fun, like watching him play, and always kind of thinking of what it's like to be like a child, and you know, like kind of bringing that feeling back to the desserts. So like our mango daisy right now, like you can kind of smash it, and the sauce kind of comes out, which like my kid just loves, like taking flowers and picking them and squishing them, and I just like, I wanted someone to feel like that too, again, you know, so just kind of like coming back, boots on the ground, and just, you know, having fun and doing what I love. But I couldn't do that without the support of my team. You know, when a little one's sick, they're really there for me, and we're all there for each other, to be honest, with all of our families. So it really means a lot to have a team that supports each other as creatives and as parents too.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I remember you were saying before our official interview, just that this has been such a supportive network with so many women in leadership roles that, or just anyone who's in a leadership role, really understanding the importance of looking out for your family, leaving work when it's time, getting that quality time. Like you said, if you have a sick child, that's top priority. So that's really amazing to hear. I think that's still something that, you know, as a country we're working on.
Yeah. Definitely, and I think as an industry, there's definitely room to grow. I know things kind of take time in our industry, like slow and steady wins the race sometimes. But you know, I think I just wanted to like use this moment to highlight that, like, you know, especially given my experience, you know, even I didn't really understand what it was like to be a parent working until it was me, and you know, it's very like eye-opening, and I've gained so much more empathy towards my coworkers as well. And I think if there's anything I can share with my experience is that, you know, we all have to like have some more empathy towards parents, because it's like it's like another job. It is another job.
Yeah,
so
it is. I'm totally envisioning now Leo having like his own little cooking like demo kitchen where you can bring him in and be like, okay, which is the most fun? And you do the little like the smash test and all these little things to see what he engages with the most.
Yeah, we bring the kids to the kitchen sometimes. Yeah, we were having Chef Kat's kid Sal was testing out our blueberries from Karma Farm, and he really likes them. And Leo was trying the black raspberries from Earth and Eats that were really good too. So,
I love that.
You know, they're just quality control.
Yeah, I mean, I think kids get it. Like I've mentioned to you, my son's 7, and I don't have a culinary bone in my body. I've always been spoiled. Everyone around me is great at cooking. I can do a playlist for you, though, or pour some good wine. I'll bring ambiance to anything you do. But I saw him watching one of those baking shows, and it wasn't even like one of the kid ones. It was one of the adult ones, and he was obsessed with it. And this was when he was like 4 or 5, and I was just so surprised. But I mean, I think they're amazing, but I didn't think it would hold, you know, a little one's attention. But he just thought it was great. And I have a lot of friends whose kids watch those and are just like completely. I think especially when it's a sweet treat, that helps. So you're basically like a celebrity. Like you just, you know, with the little ones, I feel like that'd be fun to do something one day.
Yeah. Well, my father-in-law, he lives with us, and he does a lot of the cooking in the house. He used to be chef too, and my son loves like following around the kitchen, and like he'll grab the whisk and like bang it on the ground.
Sous chef.
Yeah. So we call, he's definitely the sous chef.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool. So let's talk a little bit about the actual dishes that I know you had just said you were. Now that you're back, you have new dishes you're releasing, like the one behind us. But you know, is there anything that you feel like you've been bringing to the restaurants over the past few years that put you on the map in this way to be receiving potentially Pastry Chef of the Year? Like something that you're doing that you feel like has a certain level of originality or risk that you've been taking in the kitchen that just kind of sets you apart or you're really proud of?
I feel that it's not just me, to be honest. Like my team is really incredible. I have 2 cooks right now, Marilyn and Elizabeth, and I don't think I could not do it without them. Yeah. And I think what our desserts have that's special is like that they grow and they get better with time, and that's because of my team. Because they're making them every day, and they'll be like, oh, like if I just spray the pan just like this, it works a little better. Oh, okay, great. You know, or like, hey, I think we just add a little more flour, and this will bake a little better. Great. And so like I work on the dishes, I get them like to where I want them, but they're by no means always perfect. And I'm always open to hearing what my team has to say, and even when we're developing them, they give me insight and stuff. So I think. With them and with the help of Chef Kat, you know, and even our sous chefs, you know, like lend their thoughts and opinions. Actually, with this dessert here, the Ferrero Rocher, I was working on it, and I was working on like the texture a little bit, and it needed a crunch, and Chef Dan was like, hey, like, don't be mad, but I feel like it needs like potato chips. And I was like, sunchoke chips, because they had them on the beef set at the time. And so we put some of those on top, and it added the perfect crunch.
Yeah.
So it's like, you just can't not take people seriously. Like, you have to like listen and just kind of open up your mind to your team, because together things just get better. So for sure, I appreciate the attention that the desserts get, and creatively I really try to drive towards like nostalgia and just like flavors that like resonate with us and give you like a feeling, because I think like taste is great and using quality product is like really important to me, but also like people like totally like don't like underestimate like the feelings that you get associated with food and how that helps your experience. And I think when prices are going up and costs are going up with restaurants, like you really have to like deliver, and I think to deliver something that brings people joy in a way beyond what they're tasting is how you can kind of like make them appreciate the experience that they're spending their hard-earned money on.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, you're right. It's always a collaborative process, right?
Yeah.
That's really neat. How long have you had the two? You said it's Marilyn and
Elizabeth.
How long have they been with you?
Well, Marilyn's been with me since I started. We both started about the same time, and we've been working very closely together. She is like the bread master. We work together on all the recipes, but she'll like take it to the next level, and she's got such a more of a bread experience than I do that like I really like, you know, she takes the reins on that stuff. And then Elizabeth has just recently come to our team, having previously worked at so many places. She worked for Fabio, she worked at Butts Bakery. She's incredible too, and we've been really excited to have her join, and she's already been lending lots of great insights.
That's awesome. It's very cool. It's nice when you can have someone that's part of your stable for a long time, because I'm sure you guys can finish each other's sentences sometimes, or like know what the other one's thinking. You can kind of
you read my mind there.
Yeah.
I'll literally come and be like, hey, as I'm saying something, she like points to the prep list, and she's like, and I'm like, you already did it.
Yeah, awesome. That's wonderful. Yeah, and also like you said, when you'd mentioned being on maternity leave, you knew you were in good hands. That your menu was in good hands. All your everything was.
Yes, for sure. And even it was really nice to come back and saw that they took some creative liberties, and I tried them, and I was like really excited about them. And I was really excited that they felt confident to do it, and that she was supported by the rest of the team to do those things. It really meant a lot. They were like coming up with ice cream flavors like blueberry muffin or something like that when I was gone, and it was such a hit. People have been asking for it to come back, so we have to do that. But it's always so nice to know as a leader that like you can like empower the people that work with you to kind of grow too and have fun and do what we love.
Absolutely, that's really cool. So DC question. I feel like, being in creative industries, I feel like DC has been put on the map in so many ways, but we still kind of, I don't know, there's still a lot of people who only see us as the NATO conference that was in town this week, right? Like they don't see the vibrancy of our food scene, of our theater scene, of all these things, unless they've spent time here or they, are tapped in some way to hospitality or media or other creative outlets. So why DC for you and your husband? Because I know he's also a chef. Why does it feel important for you to continue to support hospitality here versus, in another market somewhere?
I think both of our careers happened to just land us here, and then we met here. We both worked for Jose Andres, and he's a big part of why I love DC and what he does for World Central Kitchen. I still continue to support that, I just think the community here, especially in our industry, is so strong and unlike any other city that I've encountered. I have staged in New York, and I worked in Florida for a bit and some other places, and there's a lot of like competition or just like I want to be the best, and it's like so cutthroat. But DC isn't like that. Like it's very collaborative and very supportive. Like all of the chefs in this town love doing collaborations with each other, love doing dinners. They love helping each other. I have a really awesome network of pastry chefs, which includes most of the people on that I'm nominated with. So we're all actually really close. And we do a yearly cookie swap for the pastry chefs.
I love that.
And it's around the holidays, and we do, we all bring cookies and we just kind of share them. It happens actually at the Duck and the Peach. And we've actually turned it into a project that's kind of been developing for like a charity sales. We pick different causes. So we've most recently done Safe Shores. I've done that with Tiffany McIsaac and Nevin Martell, and
that's great.
And some other people, many other people participated in that. But like the network and the connection, like I can't tell you how many people I've sent cooks or chefs to. Like there's just, everyone wants to help each other be staffed. Everyone wants to help each other if they need an ingredient, or like, where do I get this, or what farms are you using? Like I'm constantly like having my husband ask like, hey, like, where did you get those tomatoes? Those are really good. And I was like, gotta go to Chalet Farm for these, or Karma Farm has the best squash, like you just have to, or the berries are really great from here or there. Like it just, we all need to help each other and not necessarily compete. So even though like the RAMMYS is like a really great recognition of people, I feel like it's also important to recognize like everybody in the city is really just awesome and working to be awesome and help each other do great things.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's wonderful to hear. That's the way it should be. I actually agree. That's how I viewed it. It's kind of a small enough, group that everybody, I think, is trying to support one another, because the ultimate goal is to, have the city shine as a whole for these, different industries. So
yeah. I mean, just take any time a restaurant closes in the city, it's not just like the community that's upset about it. Like our industry community is very upset when it happens, because they're like, you guys need to support restaurants and all that stuff. So like, we all really band together. We support. We're like, hey, like, instead of like buying new equipment, like, hey, can we help, help you liquidate some of this product, and like we'll buy some Cambros or some chairs or something if we need it. That way, like things aren't going to waste, and you can maybe financially support someone so they can use that money for the next adventure that might work out better.
That's a great idea. Yeah,
it's just
wonderful.
It's like not being wasteful and stuff like that. It's important.
Yeah, that's really cool. So my only other question for you is what you like to do when you're not in the kitchen. And it's funny because in the 2 waves of folks that I interviewed yesterday, almost everyone was like, go to other restaurants or cook at home, or it was like something else food related. So if that's the case, that's okay. You can say food. But what do you like to do when you're not at the restaurants?
That definitely used to be the case. But with the little one, going out is more of a challenge.
Sure.
And we do like to go. But I would say my most recent hobby has definitely grown, and quite literally, is I garden at home. So I have like me and my husband kind of joke that we're trying to homestead, but we're really bad at it. But we just try to like grow different seeds, and we try different composting things. I have a habit of planting a lot of seeds that are like edible flowers and things that we'll actually use at the restaurant sometimes. Yeah. So my nasturtiums are going wild. So I've been bringing some of those into work and experimenting with those kind of things. So I just really love the feeling of like picking something you grew and having fun things to try for my son. I like show him like, look, it's a strawberry. We grew it. You can eat it. You know. And so that brings me a lot of joy. And it's just very zen. Like it's a good time for me to put my phone down and check it out. So that's really what I love to do, and it kind of connects with what I do at work, because I'm always like taking people to my garden. I'm like, you got to try this tangerine lace. Like you can eat this. You can eat sunflower leaves. You can eat all these things. So
yeah, that's cool.
It's exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's like, I never thought I would hear someone say my nasturtiums are going wild, but I love that. That's like a great, no, it's great. Nasturtiums are like one of my favorite things to have on a dish. Yeah. It almost seems like you like not the challenge, but like the excitement of something that people wouldn't necessarily think is edible or that they could try, and being like, well, actually, that'd be a fun class to teach, or something cool you could do with that.
Yeah, I mean, like, especially like, as a chef who's like worked with a lot of close farmers, like I'm constantly reviewing like the list, and we always try cool things that they have. So I almost have learned like what to grow from them. Over the years, like when I was at Mini Bar, like at some point I was in charge of herbs, so there was like, I don't even know how many herbs, like probably 50 that we were like rifling through. And like now, like I'm like, oh my God, we paid 50 cents each for these little flowers, and I have so many in my garden. So I'm just like, it's exciting to me that I can do that and make something that we can use. And is exciting, gives the dish that extra flair. Yeah. I
think there's a lot of foodies in the city that would geek out over you sharing that with them, and I have a lot of friends who mostly like pandemic life, right? Like
Yeah.
there was a sourdough starter crew,
Yep.
then there were the gardeners, and I feel
Yep.
like I have a lot of friends who are now part of CSAs and things, or have their own little garden at home, and they geek out over learning, new things that they can plant.
Yeah, there's so many things.
You have to share your talent with the world, okay?
Well, I'll come back and we'll talk about that too.
Yeah, that sounds great. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being here today, and I'm excited to party with you next weekend.
Yeah.
Be fun?
Yeah. Thanks so much. This was really fun to get to know you and talk about all the things.
Yeah, congratulations again.
Thank you.